video is going to be a tutorial on how I make my wigs in 45 minutes or less. Yes, it took me only 45 minutes to make this wig, and it is secure, everything is intact, and it still lays super flat even with all these beautiful curls. This hair comes courtesy of Celie hair. They sent over their beautiful Brazilian loose deep wave hair. I'm rocking, I believe, 2.5 bundles and a frontal, which I'll talk about after the tutorial. So make sure you stay around for that. But without further ado, let's jump into the tutorial. If you like it, hit thumbs up, subscribe. So you're going to need your canvas block mannequin head. Mine is a size 21. I've already got some T-pins ready to go. These are my favorite wig caps for this type of wig, and they're basically just a mesh dome cap. I buy them in bulk from Amazon, and I'll have them linked down below. My canvas block head is a size 21 because that's the size of my head, and the dome cap fits perfectly. This is my lace frontal. I pull it a little ways in front of the cap, and then I secure it with the T-pins before I sew it down. Because this is the size of my head, when I pull it taut on each side like so, it's going to fit perfectly, and what hangs below that I'm going to cut off after, like that excess lace frontal, I guess you would say. So it's a 13" by 4, so usually I make it into maybe like an 11" by cutting off an inch or two on each side, like an 1.5" inch off each side. I don't know if I'm doing my math right, but you guys get the picture. You'll need a hot glue gun, the glue sticks, and these are the Gorilla brand, a pair of scissors to cut everything up, needle and thread. Let's get started, and I'm just going to sew the lace frontal down to the dome cap. Pretty self-explanatory. The recommendation is that you sew this as close together as possible. I usually kind of skip a little ways. As you can see, it's close enough together that it does the job. But if I were like your teacher, I would be telling you make this even tighter, stitched together, and that way it'll work out perfectly and seamlessly, especially if you're going to be wearing this wig for a long time. You want to do your job and take your time to make sure that you do everything as perfect as you can. Sometimes I feel like when I get halfway, the other half starts to loosen up, so I'm just readjusting the frontal so that it's still going to fit tight and perfect, and I'm going to tie it up, and then we're going to continue to sew. I'm trying to learn my angles, guys. I feel like I'm never showing the proper part of the shot, I guess you would say, when I'm doing these tutorials, so I'm trying to get better at it. Feel free to use clips or whatever to keep all the flyaways out of the way. That way you're not sewing them into your frontal. Sometimes that can get kind of messy. This probably is the most tedious step of all, and the most important, because you want to make sure it's going to lay flat. And this is basically what you're going to see more than any of the tracks. So make sure that you do this part as tight and nice and neat as possible. And then usually I get to the end, I knot it at the end, and then I cut off the needle, and then I knot it 3 times. I just want to make sure there I am knotting it 3 times to make sure it's not going to come up for whatever reason. Now we're going to start gluing. Pretty self-explanatory. Just lay down some glue, cover, lay glue, cover, lay glue, cover. This glue gun was not my favorite. This is one way to do it. Started with the T-pin, cut off as much as you need for that track, glue, lay it, glue it, lay it, glue it, lay it, and then go back and take the T-pin out and glue that other side. And then here you see I didn't use the T-pin at all. It's just an extra step for me. But if you need the T-pin, definitely use it. But I just start gluing, laying it down, and it works for me. As you can see here, I'm not putting enough glue because this glue gun just was not squirting out as much as I needed. My Old Faithful hot glue gun will squirt out the perfect amount, and this one didn't. So that's my only suggestion. Make sure there's like double the amount of glue, because you don't want it to be messy, but you also want it to be enough glue that it will stick and not the tracks won't lift.
I'm so sorry guys, here I am putting up the last 2 or 3 tracks. I don't know what happened, but I'm missing like a whole clip where I did the rest. I will be doing this tutorial again a few times for you guys, but the point is you guys see pretty much what to do. And this is the end result. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful loose wave hair. And here I am combing it out because you want to get out that excess since you did cut your wefts. You will get a lot of shedding from that, so kind of get rid of most of that. And then I'm moving the frontal hair out of the way, and then I'm just going to remove those T-pins from the front and flip the frontal back. And that piece of dome cap that's left underneath you want to remove, and that's how you're going to be able to make your wig or your lace frontal look like scalp. I went ahead off camera and added an elastic band. I believe this is a 1.5 inch, and that's what the inside of your wig cap is going to look like after you're done. And this is how you put it on, kind of like a helmet. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial.
So hopefully that video was pretty self-explanatory. I think I always say that whenever I do the tutorial, but basically, hopefully that video made sense. Be sure to leave any comment down below if there is something that you didn't understand. Like I always say, repetition is the best way to learn things. So I will be doing these type of tutorial videos often. That way, hopefully, if you're a subscriber, which if you aren't subscribed now, like this video, all that good stuff. Basically, so if you guys see me do things, style hair, baby hair, make wigs and all that, over time you guys will kind of learn it or get kind of programmed in your brain of how to do it yourself, because I want everyone to be able to DIY it when it comes to hair, because it does become super expensive to go to the salon and buy your bundles and pay the beautician and still have to maintain it yourself. I'm trying to get up in there up close and personal so that you guys can see in the camera how things are done, but it's kind of hard to kind of maneuver with the camera in the way. The only critique I would say is I didn't probably use enough glue. Usually I go in really heavy-handed with glue to make sure that the tracks do not lift at all, and for the sake of the camera, and then the glue gun that I used is a new one, kind of to replace the original one, and none of them work as amazing as my OG. So that pink flower one is nice and it's cute, but the glue does not squirt out as good as my original one. So make sure that the hot glue gun that you are using is working really nicely, because you don't want it to be clumpy and nasty, but at the same time you don't want it to be too thin to where when it dries and you remove the wig from the mannequin head, it might lift the glue, if that makes any sense. But this is what I got. Again, this is some Brazilian loose deep wave hair, and I think it is so beautiful. I think it's a very nice natural take on some hair. Maybe like if, how would I say, like a happy medium between curly hair and body wave hair, but it's super super soft. Like every time I do curly hair on this channel, people tell me that's my signature look, and I agree, but curly hair to me is a lot more maintenance as far as like every day having to put product in it and stuff like that, and like when you kind of have to detangle it on a daily basis, kind of like pulling hair to make it shed more, and I think this is more me. So I will be rocking this for a while. I was about to start styling it on camera, then I realized it was already a tutorial in itself, so I needed to not make this video like 30 minutes long. So when I want to wash the hair like on a wig like this, I would just, you know, part it down the center and like pull each side to the side, and then like over the sink, I would just stand over the sink and just kind of like wet the whole hair, shampoo it, rinse, condition, rinse, and not really get the cap wet, and that's the best way to do it. Yeah, I hope that was self-explanatory. You guys seen the hair, pretty good shots of the hair in the video. I did use the frontal, which was, so basically the lengths that I used were 2 24-inch bundles, half of a 22-inch bundles, and then my lace frontal is a 20-inch frontal. I have another bundle here that is 20 inches, but I did not need it. If you want the hair to look like mine, generally speaking, when I do a 13x4 lace frontal, I'll do like 2.5 to 3 bundles. I rarely do 4. I just think that this here is more than enough hair for me. And of course, I have plenty of hair left over, so if I decided tomorrow that I wanted it to be fuller, I can just go in and add more tracks. But they gave me some free goodies. So they gave me some nice lashes. I love the shape of these lashes. I just wish that they were a little bit thicker. So maybe I'll double them up. A nice little beauty sponge that I definitely will use, because don't sleep on the cheap sponges. They do work. and then some Flexi Rocks, which I do have a tutorial on how to use Flexi Rocks coming up pretty soon. Products used in the hair, I just used my wet to style the hair. I pretty much just took my spray bottle. This shit is so dope. This spray bottle is the truth. I pretty much used this and just kind of got the hair wet. And then I kind of locked in the natural waves with a little bit of wet. Got to be glued on the edges. I kind of did a little bit of edges right here, not too much. And that pretty much was it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Also subscribe and hit that bell button so you'll never miss a video from me. And I'll see you in the next one.